We're going to finish lesson 1.5 from the lesson book with another problem situation, something called weighted means. And so this is examples when you calculate college GPAs, you calculate your grade in a class and where the grade's weighted, like our class. If you look at the distribution, how I spread out each of the categories of assignments. And so this is just a short example of this kind of information. So looking at this, again, this is different in that we have groups of values and they're weighted. And so let's take a look at the situation here. Let's say you have these situations, freshman and sophomore, 114 freshmen, 220 sophomores, and they have each different credit card debt, the average. And so we want to do, what is the overall average of the two groups? So since I don't have individual data, I don't have like the actual numbers like we had here, like the specific number of like values here, we have to use this method of a weighted mean. And you can see what happens here is there are $350 in debt times 114 students plus the 285 times 220 students. And then what you're going to do is you're going to divide that by the total number of students, because we're looking at for credit card amount per student. And so you can see it's 307 per student about. Another example of it is as grade averages in a course. And you can see how we have, if you look carefully here, let me zoom in a little bit better on this one. So if you look at those values right there, you can see you have 82s. These are the different categories. These are your scores, and these are the weights for each score. This is how you calculate your grade in the class per category. 82 times the 20%, 89 times the 45%, and the 93 times the 35%. And you divide it by the total percentages of 1, and you get 89, and that would be the grade. Notice how if you just calculate the average of these three numbers, it's a different value. They're not the same. So because this course is weighted, it's not where every score is equal, counts as the same. So we can't just do a simple arithmetic average here. So here are the examples that we could look at. If we wanted to look at here, oops, let's get back there. Here are some examples here. Let me zoom that back out. And so then looking at what we have here, we can see the examples here of how that is calculated, because we're looking for the average time per customer spent, and so that's why we're dividing by the number of customers, 35 and 24 total. And then if you're going to do a GPA, there's again an example of a GPA. There's an example of a GPA situation here where we can look and see how you would calculate it based off of how many credits a class is. That's the weight times your grade. And then you can see where you end up with your grade point average. And so that's the weighted. You have a few problems like that.